Hi everyone, John B. Man Saunders here again. I've been contacted by Stuart, one of my very kind subscribers, and asked me a question about my wasp control. So I'm going to start off by talking really about my monitoring for the Asian hornet coming into England. It's a hornet which we really do not want coming into this country. So these traps are really just to monitor these Asian hornets. If they do come into England, we have to contact the authorities, so that's why I've got the traps up. But at the same time they catch the wasps that was trying to rob out the hives all the time. It's got all the details on that card of who to contact if I see any in my monitoring traps. You can get these online, these traps. That's what it says, Vetro Farmer, and you can say look online and you'll see them and you can order them. I order mine through the Bee Society, British Bee Society. That is the sachet you mix with the sugar syrup. That's 200 grams of water and 50 or 200 ml of water and 50 grams of sugar, and then you just mix that with it. Once it ends up looking like that after about a week, I put it in the freezer for about an hour. That really does stop everything from moving in there. It doesn't freeze it, but it stops everything from moving instead of getting stung by the wasps. Then I tip it out onto a tray and slowly go through it all, checking to see if I've got any Asian hornets, but it's really 90% wasps and 10% flies I found. So it's a really good trap for trapping the wasps. I'll show you where I put it in relation to the hive. Right, I've got mine in that apple tree there. It's about 5 feet from the hive, and I believe that having those in the garden next to the hives like that doesn't attract the wasps. Some people may say, well, having them in the garden near your hives, are you going to attract the wasps? I've done an experiment on it. So what I did was I spent ages watching the hive without a trap there, and there was many wasps trying to get into the hive, and even though it's a full and a strong colony, there were wasps trying to get in, and I looked for a long time. Then I put a trap out, one of the Asian hornets monitoring traps, and the wasps all in the area went in there, and after about an hour or two there was none trying to get in the hive. They was all going into the trap, any that come this way. So I don't believe that they entice wasps to come near the hives. I believe they got the wasps that were trying to get in the hive. So that's my idea on the thing, and some people might have a different opinion to me, but this is what I say, this is my way of beekeeping. I don't mean to be pushy to anyone and trying to get you to do it my way. It's just how I do it, and this is why I'm filming it, and I hope it helps somebody. So that's the first part of how to protect your hives from wasp invasion. Also, the second part is to have a strong colony like that. There are quite a few bees on the outside now. That's because I put an Apiguard in there, and sometimes when you do that they do tend to come out a little bit like that. So not all the hives do that, but some do when you put the Apiguard in. I'll show you that in a minute. It's the hive that I've been monitoring a lot with you, Queen Isolde's hive, and in the middle, halfway up the hive, you can see I've put an ink in there and that's where I'll put the Apiguard in. I'll show you that in a minute. I've put it in before I started filming. There we are then. There's the Apiguard with the lid folded over. You just get it hold of it like that and just turn it over like that, open it up, and all the bees then can get into the medicine and clean it all out. They actually take it all through the hive. They bite it and chew it and take all the little granules and they spread it through the hive, and it treats all the mites. Of course, the other thing we do, we've got this entrance block here. It's only one I've made myself, and I've got it slightly open now. You can see there's a few bees there fanning away, sending air in it, making a circulation of air. But if I see some wasps around, I can just close that entrance block up a bit, so they've only got a small gap in the middle here for the bees to go in and out. So if there's no wasps about, I can open it up. There is one there, then I saw it. I can open this up and let a few more bees in and out. So I'm in the fortunate position to be able to watch it quite a lot because it's in my garden. But I do suggest that you, when the wasps are about, monitor it as much as you can from the outside of the hive, and either close it up or open it up, depending what's best for your bees. Of course, the other thing is, all these seals around here where the boxes join, you don't want any broken bits. You want it nicely squeezed together so that no wasps can get in. And also, this has got a mesh floor in this hive so that the varroa drop out if there's any varroa. That's why I really like them, because the varroa do drop from, if you've got a solid floor, which, you know, it's okay, people want to do solid floors, that's up to them, you know, it's fine with me, but I've got the mesh ones so that the varroa drop out. So we've got to make sure that there's no holes anywhere where the wasps can get in, where the varroa floor is. So check every part of the hive, because once they get in, you have a job to stop them robbing. See how they're pulling a leaf out of the hive there? When I opened the hive up earlier, I must have dropped a leaf in, look, and they pulled it out of the hive. You can see the small entrance I've got there, so I can just leave that small entrance there, and I can make it into just 2 bee spaces by putting a piece of sponge in there. As you see, at the moment I've got just the edge open a little bit there to help the amount of bees I've got coming in and out. Any wasps trying to get in, I'll close it up. That Apiguard in there does give off quite a bit of fumes, and the bees are not really over keen on it, and that's why quite a few of them have come out. But they're still going in and out with nectar. I can see them. They're not just the ones milling around, there are quite a few flying in and coming out. You can see them landing, so they're not all just coming out of the hive. I notice there's no pollen going in there. Sometimes the queen can go off lay a bit when you've got the Apiguard on, but you've got to get rid of them varroa mites. There's one thing I really detest in beekeeping is varroa, because them varroa mites can give them all sorts of viruses, many different sorts of viruses the bees can get through them varroas. So it is very important that we treat them and get the varroa count right to minimum that is my opinion and my way of doing it. It's not everyone's way, as I always say, but it's my way. And they're beautiful. Look at the amount going in there. It's a very strong colony that should keep wasps at bay. Try not to have weak colonies. See that bee there? It's fanning its wings, look, getting the airflow in there. That helps to sort the honey out, but it also will help to aerate the fumes that are in there from the Apiguard. There's the mite counting tray. It's only been on there for 1 day and there's 17 mites on there, whereas in 3 days I only had 2 mites without the Apiguard. So that treatment is getting them mites off the bees, getting rid of them out of the colony, helping to prevent nasty viruses and giving a strong colony for the winter. So it is important that we do this. There is the Apiguard that I put in, that eek I've just showed you. It's quite a well-known product. I'm sure many people watching this now have used it many times, but maybe there's some new beekeepers that perhaps haven't used it before. So it's just a little sachet. You have to make sure that it's in date. It's got the date clearly marked on there, and make sure you store it no higher than 30 degrees. So you don't want it in baking sun somewhere so that it overheats, it spoils it. So there's your Apiguard with all the details on it. So that's that stage of winter is coming, getting it prepared. So that's another step. Dave, one of my good subscribers, has also asked for some information on storing the honey supers that I extracted off, and the bees had cleaned them all out, and he was wondering whether we could see together how I store them in the shed. There's not a lot to it really. I'll show you now. I just use a clearer board like this for the base. I've got a ratchet strap underneath. I'll put an old mite tray in there like that, just to cover up the gaps. So I put that in there like that. Then I stack all the boxes up and put one of these on top. There we are, stacked up like that, nice and neat. There's all the cleaned out frames in there. Stack them like that. Then I'll put another clearer board on the top and another one of them mite trays on top of that, so that it's all sealed in. And then I will strap mine down using the ratchet strap like that. Make sure that it's nice and tight. So these are really squashed in. Not much can get in there now. This is quite a good product for wax moth prevention in your brood frames. It's a biological compound which is supposed to be non-harming to the bees and to ourselves. It's B401. I'd still recommend that you wear gloves and don't breathe it in, the fumes or anything. So you still got to be careful, read the instructions on there, and just be careful not to get it into your eyes and things like that. So basically it's a live product. You keep it in a fridge or a cool place, and you add 10 mils of this to 200 mils of water in a container with one of them squeezy tops that can squirt the water out, and you just mist by squirting all your frames all over the wax, and store it in the same way as the supers, and just aerate it before you need it in the summer next year. So that's another product. You can get that on eBay. I've seen it on there now for around £18 for the 120 mils, and it says on the new bottles it says non-harmful to bees and humans, I think. So anyway, there we are, B401. Right everyone, hope you enjoyed that. The previous video to this was mite count, winter is coming. The Bumblebee Foundation project commented on that video that I didn't mention about making sure you put these porta bee escapes up the right way. I'd never thought about it, you know, in mentioning that, because I just thought people possibly would put it the right way, but anyone could do a mistake and put it the wrong way, so I'll mention it. So the bees go in this way and come out this way, and you put it on the hive that way, so that from the supers they go down here into the porta bee escape and down into the hive. But if you had it the other way, they'd obviously come up from the hive, go into the supers and get stuck up there, and there'd be thousands and 10,000 bees and all up there with no room and overheating. So we've got to make sure it's that way round and not that way. So the hole is at the top, bees can go down through. Hope that's clear enough for everybody, and thanks for the comment from the Bee Foundation Society. It is quite important. Now my son has rescued a baby sparrow that was in the road. I think it was taken from a nest by something like a jay or something. They do that around here, they take the baby birds out and eat them. So, but he must have dropped it in the road, and it had no feathers on, just skin and bone with a few feathers. And anyways, kept it alive, and it's not far from fledging now. He's been feeding it every half an hour to an hour, even at 6 in the morning and everything. So there's a few little couple of minutes of that bird, and you watch that, and that will be the end of the video. So thanks for watching, and bye now from John B-Man Saunders, and see you on the next episode. Keep watching, see the little bird. Bye everyone.
Looky! Looky! Come here. Looky! Come here. He might not do it yet, Jazz. Just when he's a bit older and you come around, he will.